Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, both for our radio audience here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com. We're glad that you all could be with us. Also, those tuning in to online affiliates around the world, including our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcasts. We're glad you all could be with us, too. October is recognized, among other things, as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we always try to use this opportunity to not only be able to tell you about the importance of having conversations with your doctors, but also being informed and being inspired along the way. Our next guest, I think, will accomplish all of that. We're excited to welcome to our program Lyndsay Levingston. She's going to share with you not only her own breast cancer survival story, but also what caused her to be able to start her organization, SurviveHer, and what she wants you to know about the importance of not only knowledge, but also genetic testing as well. Lyndsay, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Cyrus, again for having me. And I'm excited to kick off Breast Cancer Awareness Month with this conversation and sharing my story. In the summer of July 2019, while working in New York City in TV news, I was in the shower and I felt a lump in my right breast, and I immediately scheduled my Well Woman exam. And during that exam, I had what was my very first mammogram at the age of 37. A 3D mammogram, a breast ultrasound, and a biopsy. And that biopsy determined that lump that I felt in my right breast was cancerous. In fact, I'll never forget hearing the radiologist's voice on the other line, "I'm sorry, Lyndsay, it's cancer." A very debilitating few words to hear, and shocking. I couldn't articulate the C word for a number of days after that, Cyrus. So triple-negative breast cancer is a very aggressive subtype of breast cancer, so I needed to start treatment immediately, hopped on a one-way home to Houston to sit with my breast surgeon, and she laid out a treatment plan that would include chemotherapy, 15 rounds, a lumpectomy to remove the lump from my breast, and radiation. Well, midway through my chemotherapy journey, I discovered that I carry the BRCA1 gene mutation, and I took a medical genetic test through Invitae, and that was prompted by a family member who also carries that same gene mutation and is a breast cancer survivor. She informed me that I was the 14th Levingston to have been diagnosed, and it was important that I knew our family history, and I took that genetic test. So a major detour in my surgical plan, Cyrus. So after 15 rounds of chemotherapy, I had a double mastectomy to remove both breasts and replace them through breast reconstruction with implants. And then, Cyrus, there's more. I had another procedure to remove my ovaries and fallopian tubes, because when you have the BRCA1, or when you carry the BRCA1 gene mutation, you are at higher risk for breast and ovarian cancers. So there is power in knowing your family history, and I'm so glad that I took that genetic test through Invitae, because it was a life-saving test. I no longer wake up in fear that breast cancer will recur in my body, or that I'll be diagnosed with ovarian cancer, because I took those measures.
Right.
And to answer your question about SurviveHer, I know this is a lot of information. This is why I started SurviveHer, Cyrus, because I learned so much during my journey. I didn't want to withhold this information for myself. Rather, I wanted to help women. So I started SurviveHer to inform, inspire, and empower women across the nation around breast cancer awareness and wellness beyond Breast Cancer Awareness Month, because we're affected every day of the year by this disease. And we have to make it a priority to know our family history, get the genetic test, and for women to get their annual mammograms. Early detection saved my life, and my goal and what I call my God-given assignment through SurviveHer is to help save other women's lives.
Well, Lyndsay, I want to first of all say thank you for sharing your story. As I said, I knew this was going to educate as well as inspire our audience. I want to go to 2 points that you made, because there will be some of our audience that will say, 37, that they're not even thinking about getting a mammogram at 37. What has that conversation been like for you to be able to have with women about, you talk about the importance of early detection, but also being proactive in knowing their bodies?
When you feel something or you see something that's abnormal in your body, I tell women to take action. Schedule an appointment with your OB-GYN, with your physician. Take immediate action. Number two, if you have a family history of cancer or breast cancer in your family and you're under the age of 40, that's even more reason for you to advocate for a mammogram. And the reason why I was able to get the mammogram is because that lump was cancerous and the lump was not normal. So it's all about advocating for what you know is right, advocating, speaking up about any abnormalities you're feeling in your body, and pushing back when the doctors say, no, you're not 40 yet. But if you're under the age of 40 and something's happening in your body that you know is not right, you have to speak up. So advocacy is a big component of wellness and owning our wellness and making it a top priority, Cyrus.
And the second point that I want to ask you about, Lyndsay, when you mentioned about the family history and you brought in about the genetic testing, what advice do you have for those who are considering genetic testing or wonder if it's something that they should do?
Well, if there's one thing you can do today, I would tell them, whether you have cancer or you just want to know your risk, it's to get a medical genetic test through Invitae, because I truly believe my genetic test saved my life, and it might save yours too. And you can log on to Invitae.com, where you can take a short quiz to find out which genetic test is right for you. And it's a quick prick. It's a blood draw, and they send it off to the lab, and then you get your results within 2 weeks, and you'll learn really the makeup of your DNA and what you are predisposed to.
Such important information. Again, everyone, Lyndsay Levingston has been our guest. She's empowering and inspiring through her own story, but also the work she's able to do through SurviveHer as well. As you heard her mention, Invitae.com, we'll make sure that we link that up for you all for those joining us online. But, Lyndsay, if you don't mind, let our audience know also how they can stay connected with SurviveHer.
Sure. You can log on to I'mASurviveHer.com, and I'm a SurviveHer on social media as well.
All right, Lyndsay, thank you again so much for this time and for being able to educate our audience, and looking forward to having you back on the program again.
Thank you so much, Cyrus, for having me, and I look forward to chatting with you again.
All right, we'll definitely make it happen, and we thank you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.